Your house could actually be making you sick. Behind the drywall of millions of homes lurks a hidden epidemic known as mold. Fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, gut issues, weird neurological symptoms, or mystery pain. These symptoms are often red flags of a deeper problem. You're not crazy. I'm Dr. Osgood, with the founder of Grassroots Functional Medicine. If you've ever walked into a doctor's office with fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, gut issues, weird neurological symptoms, or mystery pain, only to hear your labs look normal, it's probably just stress, let me give you another perspective to think about. These symptoms are often red flags of a deeper problem. You're not crazy. Your house could actually be making you sick. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Behind the drywall of millions of homes lurks a hidden epidemic known as mold. And the mycotoxins some molds produce will quietly wreck your immunity, hormones, brain chemistry, gut health, and it will drain you of your energy and your vitality. What makes it worse is that our medical community almost never considers this as a root cause. This problem is far more common than most people realize. EPA and FEMA data shows that half of U.S. homes, and over 80% of commercial buildings actually have water damage. Combine that with airtight modern construction and the fact that so many people now work from home, and you've got chronic exposure that almost no clinician is trained to recognize or treat. Mold illness is a great mimicker. People get labeled with all sorts of problems: fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, IBS, autoimmune disease, yet nothing fully explains why they're feeling this way. That's because mold doesn't just hit one system, it hijacks multiple systems all at once. Symptoms range from neurological issues like brain fog, memory problems, dizziness, headaches, electrical zaps, and even sleep disturbances, to respiratory symptoms like congestion, cough, sinus infections, and shortness of breath, to immune dysfunction, chronic inflammation, fatigue, muscle pain, gut problems, hormonal disruptions, POTS-like symptoms, skin reactions, and more. But let me walk you through some of the biggest red flags that I see in the clinic in people dealing with mold and mycotoxin issues. You feel significantly better when you leave your home, and symptoms flare as soon as you come back. This is a red flag for mold. Multiple family members or even pets struggle with similar health issues. Your symptoms began after a known water event, a leak, a flood, a roof problem. You have a musty basement, or even with new construction. You suddenly become extremely sensitive to fragrances, chemicals, or any supplements, anything you put in your mouth. You keep getting sick despite having these normal labs, and nobody can tell you why. You've collected multiple diagnoses. Maybe you've been told you have chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, IBS, MCAS, anxiety, depression, and they don't fully explain anything. If any of that hits home, your body is waving a giant red flag. Now, here's why this happens. Mycotoxins, which are the toxic chemicals certain molds will produce, are fat-soluble, heat-stable, and extremely persistent. Mold species like Stachybotrys, Aspergillus, and Penicillium produce toxins that lodge into fat-rich tissues like your brain, endocrine glands, and nervous system. They disrupt your mitochondria, they damage your neurons, they inflame your immune system, destabilize your hormones, and wreck your energy. And inhalation is especially harmful because inhaled toxins bypass the liver's first pass detox. They go straight into circulation, and some even travel along the olfactory nerve directly into your brain. That's why neurological symptoms are so common and so intense. A simple analogy I like to give is your body is like a bathtub. Genetics determine the size of your tub, and every toxin, infection, trauma, or stressor adds water. Your detox system is the drain. When your drain can't keep up with the tub, it overflows, and that overflow is your symptoms. Our job as providers is to turn off the tap and help you drain your tub. Now, mycotoxins activate microglial cells in the brain, triggering inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, and they shut down the vagus nerve, locking your body into a chronic fight or flight state. And that's why nervous system retraining, breath work, humming, cold exposure, prayer, all of these things are so foundational. Now, inside your cells, these toxins go straight for your mitochondria, which are the tiny little power plants that keep every system in your body alive and functioning. When mitochondria get damaged, your energy will completely tank, your brain will fog, your hormones will become disrupted, your detox pathways just get choked, and your entire system starts running on survival mode. And this is why mitochondrial support is non-negotiable in mold recovery. We have to rebuild those power plants so your cells can produce ATP again, that cellular fuel that drives healing, metabolism, cognitive function, and immune resilience. Now, once the ATP production collapses, nothing in the body is going to work the way it should, and that's what a lot of people end up feeling. So instead of just taking supplements, we strategically support mitochondrial repair and optimization. The goal isn't to just give you nutrients themselves, it's to restore the engines that power your recovery. That's what this is all about. One screening tool that I think you should know about that I really like is called the VCS test, Visual Contrast Sensitivity Test. It measures how well your brain can distinguish subtle shades of gray, which turns out to be a surprisingly sensitive marker of neuroinflammation. When mycotoxins disrupt nerve signaling, your contrast sensitivity drops. It's not a diagnosis, but it's a powerful, low-cost way to screen for biotoxin-related issues. Now, here's something that is very, very important for everybody to understand. We can absolutely test for mycotoxins. Despite what many doctors claim, mycotoxin testing is real, it's validated, and clinically useful when interpreted correctly. We use urine mycotoxin testing to identify which toxins are present, how high the burden is, which mold species are likely to produce them, and what detox pathways need to be supported. It helps us personalize your treatment, choosing the right binders, the right mitochondrial support, the right antifungals, and the right environmental priorities, which is absolutely key. Now, this isn't a perfect test. Nothing is. That's important for you to know. But ignoring it or calling it inaccurate is simply outdated and simply wrong. So you need to be aware of that. The science is clear. Mycotoxins are measurable and they have real biological effects. Now, of course, before detoxing anything, we must open up drainage pathways, liver, bile, lymph, kidneys, bowels, and skin. If drainage is blocked, toxins will get recirculated. So we start with things like hydration, magnesium baths, bitters, sauna, dry brushing, rebounding, all to ensure proper detox. Bowel movements are also key. And then we bring in binders, activated charcoal, bentonite clay, zeolite, Saccharomyces boulardii, or sometimes we'll even add in prescription binders like cholestyramine or Welchol. Each binder has a different affinity. So we want to start low, we want to go slow, and we want to keep these things away from foods and medications. Now, once drainage and binders are in place, then we address fungal overgrowth when necessary. Sometimes you don't even need to, but we'll use botanicals or even prescription antifungals in tougher cases. Many patients also deal with mast cell activation. They'll have flushing, itching, headaches, food reactions. This isn't an uncommon experience, but it's also not a root cause. It's a sign that your immune system is completely overwhelmed. As toxic burden reduces, oftentimes we'll see that mast cell activation just clear up. The gut also needs to be supported because mycotoxins are cleared from the gut. And if you don't do that, you're going to end up with intestinal permeability or leaky gut. Mycotoxins will also cause recurrent SIBO and fungal imbalances, malnutrition, and more. Not to mention that, again, detox happens in the gut. Now, let's talk about one of the big mistakes that people make when it comes to mold. It's regarding testing and remediation. Do not DIY mold remediation. I want to say that again because a lot of people will try to do this. Never blindly DIY mold remediation. It's important to know a couple of things. Bleach doesn't kill mold at the root. Fogging doesn't replace removal, and YouTube remediation advice leads to more disasters than it does actual solutions. But before you spend thousands of dollars on mold remediation, there are some really easy steps that you can take to help you in this process. One great option that I recommend to a lot of my patients is mold plates. Companies like Immunolytics make this really easy. You place mold plates in different rooms in your house, bedrooms, HVAC systems, basements, and you see where colonies show up. It's an affordable way to identify hotspots and to figure out where you need to focus your primary investigation. Another excellent tool that's not too expensive is called the ERMI test, ERMI, which analyzes dust for DNA of mold species. ERMI tells us how moldy your home actually is and gives us some ideas on which molds are present. Both are fantastic first steps, but once you identify a potential issue, this part is critical. You need to work with an expert. You want to work with an indoor environmental professional, or IEP, not a general home inspector. A true IEP is trained in exposure biology. They inspect everything: HVAC systems, wall cavities, crawl spaces, dust reservoirs. They use a plethora of different tests, including DNA-based testing and air samples, and they interpret the results through the lens of human health. And remember, the person who does your inspection should never be the same person who does your remediation. That separation prevents conflict of interest and ensures that you're going to get real solutions at the most affordable rate. Proper remediation requires containment, negative pressure, removal of water damaged materials, HEPA vacuuming, sanding, and meticulous cleaning. Porous items like mattresses and upholstered furniture often can't be saved. Semi-porous items can vary, and a lot of non-porous items can usually be cleaned. Fogging can help lower particles, but it never replaces actual removal. Once remediation is done, prevention matters. Keep your humidity between 35 and 45%. Use HEPA and activated carbon filtration. Change HVAC filters routinely, and check for leaks after storms or any type of water event. A professional remediation guided by an IEP is one of the best long-term health investments you can make. Now, at Grassroots Functional Medicine, our approach is structured, it's strategic, and it's personalized because every case is different. We help you strategize ways to remove the exposure, calm down your nervous system, open up those drainage pathways that are often closed. We use targeted binders, we'll support your mitochondria, and sometimes we'll need to prescribe antifungals when necessary. We'll help you rebuild your gut and retest for resilience. If you've been told that everything looks normal, but your body is telling you otherwise, trust your instincts. Don't ignore that. Mycotoxin illness is real. It's your bathtub simply overflowing. We need to remove the load, open the drain, and that is when healing begins. You're not alone in this, so please know that. There's lots of great practitioners out there that can help you. I'm Dr. Osgood, the founder of Grassroots Functional Medicine, and I've seen countless people reclaim their lives once they finally understand what's actually driving their symptoms, and you can too. You have one body, one shot, and more power than you think. At Grassroots, it's our job to help guide you. It's your job to take action. If you're looking for a healthcare team you can partner with to help bring clarity, direction, and a plan of attack to your specific health journey, give us a call at Grassroots Functional Medicine or visit us online at grassrootsfunctionalmedicine.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Have a blessed day.